See, always something. It's always something. Okay.
Hi again.
This time we have sound. Sound is good. And I realized that last time I kept banging the table and I didn't realize I was banging it. And it was like,
Oh, yeah, in the mic.
yeah. All right. So we're going to try this again. Carrie with Alice Eats the Apple. And I'm here with my guest and new tribe member, Jennifer Whittington. And this is a getting to know you. Getting to know you.
Yes.
And we're pretty much on time. Even with the little mic thing, it is now, it's only 11:03. See? There we go. Yes. And we have a guest in the studio too. An audience.
Hi,
sitting here
from behind the camera.
Yeah, she actually introduced us. So should we tell how we met?
Yes.
All the little sinkies?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. So I woke up one day to this wonderful add a friend. And for some reason, I actually went and looked at your page. And I saw that we had a mutual friend, and which was interesting. So of course, that was a yes. But then I looked at your page and I loved it. And I think you posted something that said, I'm recently out of the broom closet.
Yeah.
And normally when people first come out and they first realize they have these gifts, it's a little bit here, a little bit there. But I was looking at your stuff. I'm like, oh my, you're not a little bit out of the closet. Clearly you've been doing this a long time.
Yeah, it's been going on for quite some time. I've done what everyone else did. I created the dummy profile so it wouldn't be connected. I knew that, after a while, something just kept telling me to stop worrying about what everyone else thinks. Everything's going to be fine once you start putting yourself out there and connecting it to you, because ultimately I wasn't being authentic, and I am 100% authentic.
Well, and I think that that's it. I know that when I first came out of the closet, I was the same way. And I mean, actually, with Alice Eats the Apple, that's how I came up with the name, is that I wanted to feel free to write anything I wanted to without it affecting people I knew.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was outed on a show. She said, so you just came out with this new pen name, Alice Eats the Apple. I'm like, well, yeah, there it is. And so I get that. And so what do you think that fear is? Here, if you look right.
It was, well, let me guess, stigmata, people judging, because I've experienced that a lot in my life, not understanding, and I'm a Pisces, I'm a water sign, so I'm a dreamer, and I have to stay grounded sometimes. So it was just part of my process. It's part of my story. Yeah. And I think a lot of people experience that anyway. So, I just started listening to the messages that I got, and I was told to, stop worrying about what other people think and just start putting yourself out there. And since I've done that, my life has just been bam, 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 and changing for nothing but good. So
the little sinkies start to happen. Yeah. So when did you first know? I mean, does this run in your family? How does this manifest? How do you think you differ from other folks?
I've always been intuitive. That's been throughout my whole life. There was a period of time that, I have some trauma in my past, and I stopped listening to my intuition, to myself. I was scared. I was listening to other people. And then I grew up and I started, that wasn't normal, hanging out with my friends, and all of my gifts just started going away. I mean, I've had them ever since I was born. I just didn't utilize them. Or, if I told, I remember I told my mom one time that it must have been like 4 or 5 that I've died every way imaginable. And she was like, how do you know that? And I'm like, I just know. And I could feel it. I could experience it, and I could walk through it. But I was told that wasn't normal, or how do you know that? And when you're a child and you start saying those things, I'm guilty of it. When I wasn't where I'm at now, I'm fully awake. My son would say something to me, and my first reaction was a negative one. It wasn't a positive one.
Really? Even though you had gone through that too?
Yeah. Because for a long time, I believed that it wasn't It wasn't part of the norm. I mean, I knew that things were still there. I just didn't think that it was with me.
How so? What do you mean by that?
I just thought certain people possess those gifts and that I was not one of them.
Special, like you had to be
Exactly.
special.
I didn't fully understand. So that was what it boils down to, is that I didn't understand. I didn't do the research that I was supposed to. And also I was raised Lutheran.
Mhm.
And I went to a Lutheran private school, and I also had those things instilled in me that, you know, that wasn't right, or it's evil. And so for a long time, I blocked all that stuff out. And all I
Aren't they
got,
effective though?
all
Aren't
I
they
gotta
effective?
say though is you can keep blocking it out, people, but it will come knocking. It's
It's
knocks
gonna
on.
ooze out.
Yeah, it'll ooze out, and then once it gets your attention, then it's, you know, here I am.
Well,
So
your life changes. But I think that that's
yeah.
very effective. I think that I was talking to a friend of mine today about that, about how we were told and we were groomed with this idea that um, only the special, only the priests, only you cannot talk to God. I can talk to God, or you can talk to God,
Yes.
but God will not talk to you.
Yes.
Angels will not talk to you, and that's not true. But I remember being told that if I question, that's my biggest thing, I question. If I question, that's the devil's work. If you question, then he's putting that in your brain. And I was like, oh wow. And that really does keep you quiet.
Yeah, I questioned everything, and that's why it connected, because when I had my awakening and I really started to do my own research, things just connected. I had all these questions all my entire life, but I just kept quiet. I didn't embrace it. I didn't know. And over a period of time, things happened. And when I started doing my own research, things started connecting to me personally, and it just snowballed from there.
Okay, so give me an example. Tell me one of the first. Okay, first let's go back. So when you were a child, what is one of? I mean, you've said that about knowing how you died. So you clearly had access to these different exit points and your soul's growth. So what about, like, did you see spirit? Did you how? Tell me about that.
I have seen spirits. I'll rephrase that. I don't really see things, so to say. I mean, my third eye is on, but I'm more of I know things, I feel things.
Very
I mean,
intuitive.
yes, very highly intuitive. So, things would start coming and talking to me, and I knew that it wasn't just my voice in my mind, because it was in a different voice. It was in a different dialect, or they said things differently. Yes.
Oh, you're lucky.
So I knew that it was coming from somewhere. But again, for a long time, I thought that those things were evil, or, it just wasn't right. But from a very young age, that started happening. And memories. I mean, I have a huge, huge library up in my head, and a lot of the things I'm like, how do I know that? Where did that come from? And it was until I started to realize that it's because I've done that before. And that's how I have that. The information is ingrained in me. And it's also in ancestral information. I mean, we carry information from our families down the line. I'm learning that right now. Prime example. I'm getting back into my gardening. And I'm really big into herbs and holistic health and stuff like that. And I started doing a garden, and memories started flooding in, and they were of my childhood with my grandmother. And I didn't remember them for a long time. And I knew that she was there with me because she's helping me. Oh, you remember I taught you how to plant this? And I just know. And it's because it's been carried down.
I keep hearing, and I think I know who's doing that. I keep hearing that song, I Am My Own Grandpa. Don't you think we were? Don't you think that, you could have been your great grandmother? I mean, I think that's a really cool.
Oh, yes.
I think that's a really cool idea. Okay. So what happened to facilitate your woke as fuck? By the way, that was her term. Love that term.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get her to use it on YouTube, but I'm not sure that YouTube will let you use it.
I don't know. I just started with YouTube, but now everyone's transferring over to Instagram, so I'm more active on my Instagram. What triggered? Okay. I have to give a little backstory. So I do have some trauma in my growing up, my childhood. Lots of abuse. I will just say it. I have some sexual abuse. I have verbal abuse, a little bit of physical, not that much, but the mental, the breakdown. And I carried that pattern with me throughout my life. Most of the men that I used to choose in my past, had similar tendencies of what I was used to.
Yeah.
And I didn't know how to handle those things. Everybody has been in that point of being in the dark room in their life. They don't know where to go. They don't know how to face the fears or whatever is bothering them. So they find something to cover up that issue. They don't want to deal with it.
Right.
I drink. I'm an alcoholic. I am going on 18 months sober.
Congratulations.
And this is not my first rodeo either. I mean, I have been in recovery periods of time, and it stuck for a short period. And then, something happened, and that justified my drinking. That justified me to go back to where I was. And so I continued those patterns. Well, when you start to continue those unhealthy patterns, your bottom really starts to fall off. So I got to a point where I was losing everything. The current relationship I was in, I had lost that. I was scared about my job. My family I knew was done. They had told me they were done before, but this time I actually knew it. And my son, actually, he got to the point and told me, I can't handle you anymore. And that was it. That was my bottom was ripped out. And I knew I had nowhere to go but up. And so I started looking. I started changing the things in my life. I started putting one foot forward. I stopped listening to everybody else. And I started to look within and listen. And I started to connect to my source. And it's not easy. It's hard work. And around that same period of time that was happening, and I was drinking and I stopped. I had another kind of experience where I had a blackout for 3 days. And
now, was this due to drinking or
I don't,
not at all?
To be honest with you, I don't know what started it. Okay. And I don't know what I did during that period, only what people told me. And it was so moving that I ended up having to go to see a psychiatrist because everyone thought that I was having a bipolar episode. Mm-hmm. Now, I was having hallucinations. People were talking to me. I was hearing voices. And so, all those things scare people. And what are they going to do? They're going to run to the doctor because what is going on with me? Right. Well, everything that he was telling me wasn't connecting. I wasn't resonating with it. So when I got sober, they ask you to find a spiritual path. So something told me to subscribe to Gaia. I subscribed to Gaia, started watching that, and everything just started connecting.
You like Gaia?
Yes. The garden is about to be an affiliate of Gaia.
No! Okay.
I will announce that now. Yes.
Okay, so tell them what the garden is. And okay, we're going to stop the story right there. We'll pick right back up, but tell them what
the Garden of Enlightenment is a business that I started. And
so cool.
It is okay, it's not, yes, we do. I don't like to say the term psychic because I hate putting labels on things. That's the issue. Everyone, as soon as they hear a word, it shuts it off. So anybody who's listening to this, please come in with an open mind. Do not attach your things to words or labels. So the garden, the how it started was a Facebook group, and
you can find it on Facebook.
When I started waking up and wondering what was going on, because personal things start to happen to you in your world, synchronicities, the repeat numbers, things that don't make sense, that you cannot tell with your five senses, or that you're seeing but no one else is. It does start to happen. And so I started seeking out going into groups. Well, I met a girl. She did become my mentor, and I ended up becoming an admin of this group. And lo and behold, we decided that, we were seeing what everyone else was doing in the business, just like you, and started to develop that. Well, I didn't want just that. That's not why I'm here. I mean, again, I'm in recovery. I am a firm believer in AA and the 12 steps. I think that it will help everybody out there. And they tell you, become a sponsor, help the next alcoholic. Helping the next alcoholic was not good enough for me again, because everyone can benefit for it. So I started to realize that I am here to help people. So the garden got developed. It was me, another girl. We have some other wonderful ladies that have joined us along the way. The garden is not just about me. I do own it, but it is a group of us that do this. And right now we're in the United States, and we're also based in Canada. So
what do y'all do? So what do you?
We do intuitive readings. We have Reiki masters. We do healing. Reflexology is now available. Mediumship is available. I have a girl that helps do the cleansing of the houses. She's actually getting ready to start doing past life regression. We do mindfulness practitioner. I'm currently, I am a intuitive life coach. I'm currently expanding on that and getting more certifications in that field.
You really grab onto things.
I own J&W Company, which is a virtual assistant company. We do website building, because just like me, when I started building this, most people don't understand the technology. So when I started developing that, I was like, well, I want to help people that are in the business that don't understand. So we offer business services. We offer guidance. I do recovery guidance.
When do you sleep?
Oh God, don't even ask me what I do in my sleep.
Wait, this is in the last 18 months?
No, the garden was started, actually it started forming July of last year.
Okay, holy shit, seriously?
So and just to be honest, no, I have only been woke. I have been woke. Well, I won't let that term. They take care of my family. And
How old is your son?
He's 15.
I have a 15.
14. He's 14.
I have a 13 and a 15-year-old.
Yeah, he's 14. I take care of the family, and I also work a regular Muggles job too inside. But that's another thing that I stopped doing, was that how much time am I wasting watching TV or listening to the radio? I have nothing wrong with listening to the radio, but so many people leave work, go home, and
zone out.
Well, I mean, I use that time to benefit. So,
well, and don't you think that I was talking about this last week. Don't you think it's a muscle? And the more you do it, the more you gain. And the more you gain, the more you do it. And it's a snowball, and it just keeps going. And I think that it sounds like the alcohol, I mean, it's, as hard as it is to go through it and to come out of it, it sounds like it was exactly the life plan to get you here.
Oh, when I woke up, I mean, that excites me. That excites. Yeah, I'm sorry, guys. When I get pumped up, my energy I can see it. I'm glowing right now.
I'm glowing.
It just radiates.
She does radiate.
When I woke up, going back to my story,
sorry,
going back to my story, when I started watching Gaia, then all these things that I had been sheltered from, I'm like, oh my God, that makes sense. Oh my God.
Okay. What shows which ones really resonated?
The Ancient Civilizations was the first one that I started with. And it starts right off at the beginning. I'm sorry for some of those people with the Anunnaki. And as soon as it did it, it started triggering memories for me. And then it's, you know, things I started watching and I'm like, wow, I questioned that my whole life. That made sense.
Okay, so Tiffany and I did with the Joyride show. We did, by the way, hi Joel. Now that I know your name, one Blue Love, he's wonderful and he's giving you a lot of encouragement.
Thank you.
So I did a show. I wanted to do a show. We did 2 of these on things hidden in plain sight, and it's like, why do we not ask Stonehenge? I mean, everybody has their theory, or the crystal skulls, like Crystal Skull Max, or I mean, just all these things that everybody goes, yeah. Somebody thousands of years ago drew a ship and a helicopter on the side of a rock, but yeah, we're really not, don't really care what it is.
That was it.
And I know, isn't it fascinating?
Well, yes. And then, like, you know, me being raised Lutheran, you know, I didn't know anything about other cultures or other religions. All I knew was that, you know, it wasn't Lutheran. That's all I knew. So then I started
the Lutherans and then the rest of the world.
Yeah. Then I started, you know, reading that, studying the Bible, and then studying the Hindu text and everything, and the similarities in the Egyptians. And it all, like, when you, and that's what I tell everybody, Absolutely. Go do your own research. But when you start to connect the dots, I'm going to tell you, the dots are going to connect. That's the problem. Everyone wants to listen. You know, no one wants to do their own research, but I'm sorry, it's piss or get off the pot. You have to do your own work.
Amen,
no
sister.
one here is going to give you an answer. We can guide you and tell you where to go look for it, but it is up to you to do your own research.
Do you know what my new favorite term is? Get off your knees. Get off your knees. And it requires you to do the work, not to trade one paradigm for another. Not to, I'm sorry, I'm getting a little bit worked up here, but it is. I mean, I think that I was just telling somebody that this morning. I've been waking up at like 4 a.m. and today I slept till 5. But it was, I was emailing someone, and that was my whole point is that I was told years ago, follow no one. And so every time, like, I found Yogananda and I asked his priest, his monks, I was like, I'm just a little bit nervous about this. The whole cult thing freaks me out. And not that I thought it was, but I did a lot of research and I wanted to make sure it was on the up and up, and it's beautiful. And they said, if anyone ever asked you to leave your family at some point in one of my lives, I must have left my family, because that was a fear of mine. Like, I never want to be pulled so much that I would absolutely jeopardize them. And he said, if anyone ever asks you to do something like that, run. And so that validated it. And then Cryon, I love Cryon's work, and their whole thing is, you read it, you pass it on, give away the books.
Yes.
And that's the way I feel. And so, and there are things that I think we go to, we learn, but it's not learning, it's remembering.
It is.
Like this, anyway, that's my stuff, and I've talked about it ad nauseum. Okay. So ancient civilizations.
Yeah, I started watching Ancient Civilizations, and then I started checking out the other programs.
I love Corey Good, and
I can definitely get into Corey Good.
We have so much to talk about.
I mean, if we got visited, I could probably tell you who they are. You know, how to talk to them. I don't know what they eat, but you know, I am working on that.
Well, this morning, Miles and my son and I went outside. He's like, let's go look. Let's go look and see what's outside. And so because we have seen craft before. We saw a triangle.
Yeah.
And it anyway, I mean, I don't know what it actually was, and I've seen things out here with light pollution. You can see one, the moon, a planet, and 2 stars. And that yet here's this shooting star, and then it gets over here, then it's over here. And it's like, okay,
I have pictures of stars that don't have names on my Skyfinder. So no one can sit there and tell me that it's not a star, because nothing has come up.
So a friend of mine, our friend, that he's an attorney, he's an actor. I mean, he's been into movies. He's probably more than that. He does flamenco. He fights bulls. But it's nice bullfighting. They don't kill the bulls. It's Velcro. And so it's bloodless. And I just had to say that. I didn't want to get flack for that. But he sent me today, 5 a.m. His girlfriend was on her way to work, and she saw craft. she videoed it. I'll have to show it to you, and videoed the craft. And they were just, and she's like, oh my God. But David's seeing the craft too. The craft.
Yeah, they're coming out a lot more. I'm seeing more and more pictures of it come out on Facebook, you know, and anybody can believe that it's a fake photo or whatever. I know what
but when you
I've
see it with your
seen
own eyeballs
between my two eyes, I know that it's there. So
well, my girls, we did a girls trip, and we snuck onto this golf course, New Braunfels, and we're laying there, and somebody said, I mean, we all saw it, and somebody said something, and I said, well, I wish to see a shooting star. Shoom, here it comes. And we're following it. No lights, you know, none of the blinking lights, the running lights. And it's here, then it does like this turn, and then it's just the finest thing. And yeah, you just have to look for them, and like, but my contacts always get dry, so I can never really follow them for very long.
I wore contacts for the longest time, and they get so dry that I can't see. No, I took them out. That's why I have my glasses. I mean, I ended up throwing them out in the middle of the day, and it didn't matter how many times I put in drops. It just, my DNA was changing.
Are your eyes, okay, so my eyes, I'm blonde as a bat, but the color of my eyes are changing. They were dark brown, and now they're hazel.
I've noticed mine are lighter, but no, I haven't.
So Mitch, he's my buddy that was struck by lightning, and that he's a walk-in, and that's when it happened, and they have like the slides. I don't know if you saw that video, but he's a good friend of ours. Skittles has been in the car. She didn't want to come in, so that would be great. Thank you. And so my dog, and he was just talking about that too, how his eyes are starting to change, and they're getting lighter. Okay, so you have this organization. And y'all are helping people all over, everywhere. Hi, girl, my dog. And so just so that we know, how can people find you?
We are at www.gardenofenlightenment.space, SPACE. I chose that because if you go to .com, that is not us. And of course, you can pick anything on the end, and we are all star stuff. We are made of all star stuff. As above, so below, so .space.
Okay. So it's say that again.
Gardenofenlightenment.space.
Got it. So I'll put that on.
Yeah. We're also on Facebook. You can find us on Instagram. I do have a YouTube channel started.
Is it woke as fuck?
No, it's not as woke as fuck. I do spiritual product testing too. And I do
Seriously?
video. Yes, I do, because I want to make sure that everyone out there is only getting the top quality products. So if you are interested on me doing that, you can find me on my website and send me an email. Yeah, I do.
Do you do Skype? I mean, will you Skype with people if they're not close by? So I love that, because I think there are some. We're going to a salt room. We're doing my first. So Carrie and Sarah and I are going to a salt room, and I want to start doing these field trips, because I want to check out this stuff too, because there are different things that do work for different people. And so what type of things do you?
Well, my birthday, I got treated to do the sensory deprivation.
Oh, thing. I did that too. Wasn't that cool?
I loved it. I did a video on it. Oh my gosh.
That's on my list.
I can't wait to do it next. So yeah, I've got a lot of things on my list that I want to do.
I want to do it with you.
Oh, I'd love to go. Do it again. Yes. No,
Phoenix wants to go too. Come say hi. Come say hi real quick. No, just come say hi. Okay. So this is Phoenix, and she is the conduit for all things. So yes.
Yes.
Okay. I just have to say I want to go. Don't leave me out.
You won't be left out. You have to come.
But I'm not following you, so don't worry. You said don't follow no one.
Exactly. Don't follow me. Just come walk with me. Okay. There you go. Well, okay. So what do you have coming down the pike? You were starting to talk about Gaia. So can you talk about that, about what's going on there?
So I haven't officially announced it. This is the official announcement, but the Garden of Enlightenment has paired up with Gaia. We are an affiliate of them. What that means is that if you go to our website and you subscribe to Gaia, the garden gets a certain percentage of the proceeds. Now, the garden right now is maintained on a volunteer basis. I don't have employees. Everyone that helps maintain the garden is donating their own time. The other ladies that work with me, they do their business on their side, but the garden itself, like our newsletter, we started Rooted, which is a magazine for spiritual people that are coming out. I don't want to run advertisements. I don't want to have to charge anybody. And all the content in there, we have another lady that's joining us in April. Her name is Maria. She is a journalist. And so she helps write a lot of the content. And I have another lady named Tracy. She helps write and edit. Awesome. And we try to get that emailed out. So anything that, if the garden itself brings in income, all of that money is to help run the garden, to get your knowledge out there. And also it like the back end business stuff that it costs, because these things do eventually cost money. Mm-hmm. But yeah, so I'm actually joining Patreon. Mm-hmm. So that's what we've got going on now. We're adding more services. We're getting, I'm constantly reading. I'm constantly learning something. We're doing that. The vision of how the garden is going to go is we will have a school. We are in the back ends of working on a school where you can learn like different things on herbalism, health, diet, healing. We've got some other things. We're all collaborating on what we want to add to that. We're also going to be building a recovery program to help people, to kind of guide them on where to go.
So you'll bridge recovery with
yes, because
spirituality
it has to bridge together. The basis of the AA and the 12 steps is to find a higher power greater than yourselves, because we are not the only, we came from somewhere. We're not the only people.
No, not at all. And that's,
and it's connecting. It's not just knowing about it. It's connecting.
Right.
There's a huge, huge difference.
There is a huge difference.
Yes.
And okay. So you brought cards.
I did bring cards.
She also reads decks. Okay.
Yes, I am an intuitive reader. My favorite deck is Rebel deck. It's the Oracle with Attitude. I like it because I am, people know that when they come to me, I don't sugarcoat shit. I'm sorry. Now that I'm
fucking honest.
Now that I'm able to do my readings, I'm going to speak how I normally speak.
Okay. Now, speak how you normally speak.
I know. I tried to
clean it up.
It's talking about earlier, knowing how to say things at the appropriate time.
I know.
But yeah, I love the Rebel deck because I like to give answers. You're going to ask me a question. I'm going to give it to you how you need to hear it. And sometimes the truth hurts, but you got to rip off that Band-Aid. Don't peel it off. Don't peel it off, because then you're just dragging it out.
Okay, I've one too. You have to lance that boil to clean it out.
Yes,
I can do this
a
all day.
Good one. That's what I felt like when I came out of my spiritual awakening. Like everything was happening like it was a giant pimple, and it was.
Okay, that's gross.
It is gross, but
all right.
Okay. So
what do you call these? You call them something. You do the Friday.
It is Fuck It Friday.
Fuck It Friday.
Because fuck it.
Bucket.
Mm-hmm. That's a great word. I did post something on my Facebook and Instagram to pick the cards. So how I've been doing this is I post 3 cards in the morning, A, B, or C, and you pick whatever you're drawn to, or you pick all of them. It doesn't matter. There's no set rules on anything that I do.
So, okay. So right now, should the people listening, should they pick a card?
I'll show you.
Okay.
I've got card A, B, or C. Okay, so pick a card, any card. I'm going to pick, so for me, I'm going to pick B. You're going to pick B? Mm-hmm. You want B too? Okay, Phoenix and I are picking B.
Enlightenment.
Okay, everyone got it? We're going to go. Okay, so card A is shame, regret, and guilt. Those are just bullshit feelings. Forgive, let that shit go. All right. Yes. So, shame, regret, and guilt. Those are the things that hold us back most. Mm-hmm. This is what holds you back from not achieving your true potential. It it holds you back in life. It also leads down to fear, because you've had the shame, the regret, and the guilt, you're going to have a lot of fear. What is fear? It's false evidence appearing real.
Yeah.
And you can fuck everything and run, or you can face everything and rise. But I'm going to tell you, if you fuck everything and run, it's going to push you into a corner where you have nothing to do but face everything and
You're
run.
still going to have to do it, right?
So the best thing that you have to start doing is forgive and let that shit go. And the best way that you start to forgive is to start to forgive yourself. Because when you start working on yourself and you stop paying attention to what this person or that person or this thing is saying, and you come back to source, because at the end of the day, you are responsible for you, bottom line. That's it. But when you come back and you start working on the forgiveness that you have for yourself, it starts to change the forgiveness that you have in the world around you, and forgiving other people. You just start doing that.
Can I add one thing to that?
Go ahead.
I have found that I had a real issue with my 25-year-old self. And what I did is I pulled out of, instead of it being Carrie embodying all of the stuff that I did in my 20s, I separated from that, and I forgave her, and I took care of her. I nurtured her. And because nobody's life, nobody feels that they've done it right. There is no right. And so we have these lessons that we walk through, and it's such a beautiful thing when you can say, yeah, well, I did walk through that, and look at where I am now. How great is that? I wouldn't be here now without that experience. And I love her, and she needed something that she wasn't getting.
I'm a firm believer of that. A lot of that's my whole story is that. And I did exactly what you did. Is I stepped out of that situation and I viewed it like I was looking on it, and I was able to heal that stuff. I mean, it was tremendous. I've done tremendous amount of healing. People that used to know me can testify to that. My family can testify to that. And I'm always constantly growing. I mean, I'm a human being. I'm not going to have this thing right. I don't have I'm not getting a written manual how to live life or anything like that. I'm just doing what has been told and everything.
You'd rebel against it anyway.
Oh God!
Somebody gave you a book and said, "Follow these instructions."
Rebel deck, you know.
Exactly.
Yes, I am a rebel. Okay, so carrying on, you've got it. You got to forgive. Start forgiving yourself. Stop, the shame, regret, let it go.
Okay.
Card.
Phoenix, this is B.
Card B. All right. It's not everyone else's fault. It's yours. I think I just said that. You are a grown-ass adult. Stop blaming others for your shit. This card, I think, came up last week too. So, again, this is another thing that stunts your growth.
Well, you're playing victim.
You are. Oh man, it was so easy for me to play the victim.
We're conditioned. That is a human condition. It's everybody else's fault.
It is an attachment that you have coming in to this world. It starts when you were younger, and people, you can go in and remove those attachments. But yes, it's not everyone else's fault. It's yours. So goes back. Start looking at your own shit.
Even if it's not your shit, I mean, even if it really is something that happened to you, you attracted it. Why? Why did you need the lesson? What energetic draw?
Go back to root causes. Go back to the root causes. Yes. Well, I mean, anger. I'm learning this in my life coaching course. Anger. The only reason that we're angry is because someone said something to us that inside struck a chord.
It triggered you.
It wasn't that person that made you mad. It's not that person's fault that made you mad. It's inside. It's something. And most of the time it's because someone's telling you something that's the truth, or that's the truth, or you've been questioning it. Then you get defensive. But you got to start, mindfulness comes in. That's when you really got to start paying attention to those things. So, everyone can jump on this bandwagon. I'm guilty. It's not everyone else's fault. It's yours. Stop playing the victim.
It's not my fault.
Start taking responsibility for what is going on with you. If you pulled out card C,
Bye, honey.
Bye. Thank you.
I like your stories.
Don't believe every shitty thought you have.
Oh, it's a good one.
Thoughts can be sneaky, lying bastards. Yes. I think I touched on this earlier too. You know, I stopped listening to my thoughts because I was running the show for so long and it was a shit show. Okay. So I had to stop doing that and really start listening to my intuition and the information that I was getting. You know, I am self-will run riot.
Wait, say it again.
Self-will run riot.
I like that.
Yes.
Right or riot?
Riot.
Oh.
When you rule with yourself, and a lot of people have tried to do that and have tried to control their lives, how is that working for you? How's that going? If it's working for you now and you are trying to control things, then, you know, most time it doesn't really work with people that well. So that's something, but don't believe every shitty thought that you have. They're thoughts. I cannot tell you. I know that I can't remember the number off the top of my head right now, how many thoughts that we go through in a day. I mean, hell, in the first 30 minutes that you wake up, you've probably already had 500 different thoughts go through your head.
Yeah.
The thing that what changes for people is that you entertain those thoughts. So if negative things are happening in your life, it's because you're focusing on the thoughts. Imagine 500 thoughts just in 30 minutes, and your mind can't process all of that data at once. So it's going to pick the main ones that you are primarily focusing on, and it's going to entertain those things. This is not woo-woo shit. This is, I mean, scientifically, philosophers have proven this over and over. When you start to entertain those thoughts, you're going to constantly start having, you're going to make it bigger. That's why we blow things out of proportion, you know, like, I mean, I've done it too. I get all worked up in my head and I think, oh my God, the situation is going to be this way. And then when the situation happens, it never is like the way that I thought it was going to be. It was never that, you know, bad the way that I thought that I made it out to be. Right. So what was I doing? I was believing every little shitty thought that was going through my mind. Well, stop.
Okay, so this is going to sound inane, but in Julia Roberts' movie Pretty Woman, you know, there's a scene, and it's weird where you get your gold. There's a scene where she says, "Why is it that 10 or 9 people can tell you look wonderful? One person tells you you look like shit. You go home and change."
Yeah, because
it's almost like we want to believe it.
Well, that's because inside we've been questioning that. We've been thinking that. That's how we've been feeling. So it doesn't matter if 100 people tell you look good. If that one person tells you look bad, because they justified that thought.
They just validated it.
They validated. So it's got to be right.
Right.
You know, I didn't want to get on camera because I was afraid of how I looked. And yeah, so I mean, but that was within myself. Everyone kept telling me, no, you're going to do great. You know, you look great. And I stopped listening to me again. I stopped believing that shitty thought, because at the end of the day, the only thing that it's going to do is hold me back. And it's held me back for a long time.
No, it's true. And that's, I remember a friend, I'm just validating this again, but I remember a friend of mine was saying, she said, you know, and she's beautiful, she's tall, long, gorgeous hair. She's just beautiful. And she just has this presence. And she said, you know, I quit wearing skirts because I didn't like that part where she thinks your knee is supposed to go in and it didn't. And her aunt said, now, wait a minute. No one sees that. You see it because you're zeroed in. What do you see about me? And she's like, well, I think you're beautiful. And she said, right, because you see the whole person, not where your knee doesn't indent. I mean, what is that? No Skittles. It's okay. And I think, I don't know. I just think getting out of all of that. And I want to also say that, and I've said this before. No bark, babe. That the other. I'm
sorry. No, we can't control it.
No, thank you. That the other day, And my train derailed. Anyway, thank you for doing that. Thank you for doing that.
You're welcome.
That is really cool. Now, do you do tarot readings?
I don't do tarot readings because I am still learning the tarot deck. Now, what my ancestor roots are runes, which are little stones, or they have a design. Now, runes aren't anything different. It's just
I have some.
Yes, and it's a language. People wrote
Celtic,
in it,
right?
Yes, it is, and Germanic. It goes really back into those roots. Stonehenge time. So you'll see, I do that. I do oracle cards, and I do the Rebel deck is a oracle deck. So that's what I mainly do when I do readings. I do have a pendulum. I can do pendulum readings as well.
I've started doing automatic writing. Well, I haven't started doing. I just started, and it was funny. I had a friend of mine, and he said, "How now? Can you teach me? Can you show me how to do it? Can you And don't you? Okay, I'm going to cut myself off. Don't you think that that's part of it? Is that some things that you're just intuitive. You've had it your whole life. You don't think about breathing. You don't think about your heart beating. And there are some things that we naturally come in with that we don't even think about. So to identify that as special, or to identify that as something to work on, can sometimes be invisible, and you're trying to bring light to it.
Oh yeah, because as soon as the veil was lifted and I could see, all those gifts started coming in. I just realized that I could scurry. I have not gotten into that, but I'm working on it. But yes,
what does that mean? I always think of
gazing into the crystal ball.
I have one upstairs.
Yes, basic. But you can scurry with anything. That's how people read tea leaves. It's all a form of doing that.
It's a connection.
Yes, but
that's what
I had been doing that.
Tarot is too. I mean, it's just the way to connect.
Oh yeah, it's just
it's like
they have it out there. It's just a different way to access the information. But yeah, when it dawned on me, I was like, wait a minute, I used to do that when I was younger. So I just forgot.
So
and
who are your guides? I mean, you don't have to name them, but do you know your guides?
No, I don't know their name. Now, okay. Have your guides changed throughout? Okay. So mine have changed. I know the ones that originally started me on that path. One's Hank, and then I have yes,
I have Bob.
The Sophia is one of them.
Oh, pretty.
Yes, she's a big protector, my mother. And then
Archangel. She is your mother?
She protected me like my mother.
Got it. Okay.
And also Archangel Gabriel.
Oh, Hannah, how do you know?
I knew because when I first started Wake, I wasn't familiar with all the names. I still don't know all the names of the angels. And I was meditating. I started getting into meditating, and I asked, I was like, what are your names? I can feel them there. I can see the colors. I can feel them there. I asked, and first names I got were Gabriel, Archangel Gabriel, Sophia, yes, the Sophia. That's exactly how they said it. Sophia, yes, the Sophia.
I have a book on her.
And Hank. And I was like, okay, well, I don't know who Sophia is, and I didn't, I knew who Gabriel was, but Hank, I still have. Hank's just Hank.
I just know Hank.
Hank is just Hank. So, yeah, and then I started researching. I was like, oh wow, that connects. So now that I have raised my vibration, is what I call it, and I am on a different dimension level. I vibrated a different frequency. I have different ones, and they don't really give me their names, and I don't really ask their names because they just give me the information. We have a connection like that. But yeah, one is Galactic.
Yeah.
She has shown herself.
She blue?
No, she's not blue. She's more of a white color. But she showed herself during a Reiki treatment, and she's really tall. She's like 9 foot tall. Really, I mean, she's my main guide right now. And I have other ones that come in. You said Jesus earlier. I talk to Jesus sometimes. He pops up. but yeah, I'm more, I think because I am so open and I don't question things, I get different messages from different ones. It just depends on what they want me to know and where they want to guide me. But going back to my story, I stopped questioning things and I get these messages in and they show me different signs, and no one can tell me I'm not on the right path because I'm doing things right. I'm getting reminders, things are confirming for me, and I'm going in the right direction. And I follow orders. They
gave
I
you
would
marching
not,
orders.
honestly, I would not have any of this if I did not start listening to them.
Well, so I think we started with this. So I I messaged you on Facebook, and I was so worried. Well, I was worried that we had met, and to me that would be the most horrible thing for you to say. We had dinner together. I mean, that would just be terrible. And I don't think my memory's that bad. But so I just sent you like a, well, hi, and so then you emailed back, and we go back and forth, and tell them what you did.
Yeah. So I sent her a friend request. Our friend had mentioned that we had similar interests. So I Facebook stalked you. Sorry.
That's why it's there.
I know you can't Facebook stalk anymore, but
I'll stalk you right back.
Yeah, I know. So I went to her page, sent her a friend request. Time goes on. Something kept telling me, take Friday off, because like y'all hear, I'm always working. And so I put the notice on my desk. My coworker can testify to this, people. She can testify.
She put a request in for Friday off.
For Friday off. I put a request in. 30 minutes later, she comes back on. Oh my God, I have a show. I love what you're doing. Do you mind coming on here? We could do Thursday or Friday. And I'm like, I actually just took Friday off. Something told me, take it off. I did. I followed orders, and bam, here we are. And we decided that we were not going to, it was going to be limited conversation. So this is actually our first meeting.
Yeah. We were going to talk and kind of get to know each other. I was like, no, I don't want to do that. I want to discover and explore with y'all. And so that's why. So I'm hearing all this. No, I keep hitting it. My hands just kind of go crazy.
I know I talk with my hands too.
I thought that was really.
Oh yeah, cool. And I came back and I told her, what wasn't it your friends list? Like you had to clean out some of your friends list or whatever.
Yeah, I had like 5,000 people on because once you get in this algorithm and you start saying yes to people and you start adding people, then you get ton of friend requests. And it's not, I think a lot of people like to bulk up their Facebook page.
Yeah.
And so it's not that they even know
any of them,
anything or they don't, it's not an ego thing. I guess that's why you add all these people. And I went back and I took most people off. And so
mine came through.
Yeah. I'm not adding a bunch. I mean, I get some weird ones, but I'm not saying weird people. Like I got one. No, really, I got one. And this guy, there were body parts around him, and he was holding a gun, and I reported that bad boy, and it was gone. But I mean, you get some bizarre.
Oh things. Yeah, no, I showed my boyfriend the other night. It was like Chang Wang. That sent me a friend request, Chang Wang. I was like, oh
great name.
Yeah, I know.
Well, my rule before was you have to speak English, not because it's just that I was promoting the show, and you're not going to watch it if you don't speak.
Yeah.
So it wasn't. I mean, it wasn't I was not trying to be crummy, but okay. So you were also saying that you are an amplifier.
I am an amplifier.
What does that mean?
When I get around people, I
You're like
start to pull out that stuff to start making themselves better. It's just like with the garden is a prime example. I mean, it's not just me. It's a whole group of ladies. And it's a wonderful thing because we all call each other on our shit, but they know they've worked with me. I'm like, I come in and I don't easily do things. It's like, bam. And then let's do this. And it explodes and it gets them all going. And then they get pumped. And then they're like, yeah, we're going to do this. And then all of a sudden they're starting to do their own things because that's what I want. It's even though I may own the garden, all the people that work with me are doing their own things. They have their
it's just
business.
a platform.
Yeah, it's just a platform. And, you know, I love working with people and I want to get that knowledge out, but people come in and they get with me and I just start pushing them to start doing better, you know, for themselves. And I amplify. I mean, I have a lot of energy. And once I get excited about something, it really explodes. Yeah.
But that's the cool thing though, is that you're not trying to get them to do what you want them to do or what
I don't facilitate
your cause. You're telling them go, you know.
No, I highly encourage it. I mean, there are some things that, you know, we've all discussed that I like things put in place, but that's only because it's from like a business aspect. But, you know, them doing their own thing. No, I want everybody to start encouraging. I mean, that's something that I'd like to make clear. If a client comes to me, and I always do consultation, and I'll just pick life coaching because this is important. If they immediately come to me and say, you know, my life is going to shit, can you fix me? And I say, no, I can't fix you. I'm not here to fix you. I'm here to help guide you and show you what you can do to make it better.
That's exactly right.
And that's what it is. I mean, I'm not here to facilitate. We're here to guide. You know, we are all connected. Humanity is not going the way that anybody wants to because no one stops and takes the time to help. And you see that in social media. If someone is posting another video of someone helping somebody and that video only gets 2 likes, what does that tell you? That tells people that it's, you know, it's not the common to be nice to the other person. Well, at the end of the day, that other person is just like you.
That's exactly
just
right.
like you. So, I mean, yeah, I help inspire people to help achieve their highest potential. That's what I'm here to do. I mean, I'm here on a mission. And it's a pretty big mission. So, I mean,
so touching on the shift, are you aware of all of that storyline? Well, of course you are. You watched Gaia. I mean, you watched Wilcock.
Oh yeah, I am. So I also have another Facebook group. I run 3 Facebook groups. I run the garden, which, you know, anybody is more than welcome to join it. But I'm going to tell you, we do talk about some things that may go over your head, and you'll hear words like star seeds and
these group, they're all into star seeds and galactic.
But I do have some people that don't really know what I'm doing that are watching this. But so that group may not be for you, but I have another group that's based around holistic healing and any type of natural healing. That group is for you too. Then I have another group called Can I Get a Read? Can I Get a Read? Garden of Enlightenment Book Club. I run a spiritual book club every month. So
Can I Get a Read?
Can I Get a Read? And this month, one of the books was Behold a Pale Horse.
Oh, I have that book. I haven't read it.
Yes, I highly recommend anyone reading it. It's William Cooper. I believe I got the name right. That's what's coming to my mind. If I didn't, I apologize. But yeah, it opens your eyes. Someone very, very close to me also helped trigger my awakening. He recommended that book. He recommends it to everybody. That's my boyfriend.
It's hard to stomach some of the stuff.
I'm into it that I have seen videos that have made me believe, and I do not post those things because not everyone can handle that. But yeah, I'm fully woke on what is going on. And that also inspired me to start making the change because things do need to start changing. They are.
Okay, so this is going to be, I'm going to split this live into 2 spots because this is a really interesting place because this is where I've been. And I believe that why is it way down there? I believe, now could y'all not hear us? I'm sorry. I believe that, there we go, that when we wake up, part of it is seeing the structure, seeing the paradigm in which we live, seeing the matrix, if you will, and seeing all that goes on. And it is, some of this shit is dark and nasty. And I know that I walked around thinking, it's like, how do you not see this? How do you not? And I was getting angrier and I was getting ickier. And actually, I think we talked about this on the last show. And what happened with me is my guide Bob said, you know what, man, you got to get out. You know, I was answering a question, and this woman was saying something. We're talking about all the stuff going on in the world, and I am a light bringer. I'm not a warrior. I can armor up if I need to, but I'm not a warrior.
Oh, I'm warrior all the way, baby.
And that is that's where I pass that torch. And it's like, okay, I see it. I know it's there. And I know that there are some dark and nasty things. Like, for example, well, I won't go there, but it just made me angrier, and it lowered me to a place
it does. And that's another thing.
I felt like I couldn't do anything.
Well, but you are.
Well,
you have the show. You're spreading knowledge. You just said it.
But no. But there are people that it is. I mean, do you know James from the E City Ranch?
No,
I can't say the name. James Gilliland.
Yeah. Okay. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And his work is incredible. And I just don't. I mean, I often say this. I don't know how he's still doing it. I don't know how you stay in that vibration of really wanting the masses to see this stuff. And it's like, it feels like it just doesn't change. And then what I saw these people who keep talking about the shift, but it's like, I'll be happy when I'll be happy, and I was told in a recent channeling that I've already shifted. I mean, like, a lot of us have already shifted, and we're here doing the work to help everybody else shift and come.
Yes. So like you said, I've been busy. I mean,
You're really busy.
It's been almost 18 months. I feel like as soon as I woke up, I've been on a cramming session. I've read more books and watched more videos on this than I have in my entire life. I used to never be in politics, so I'm not really into politics right now, but I am aware of what's going on in the world right now where we live in. And that's the same messages that I am getting. I mean, we are transitioning, and anybody who doesn't think that this is real, what is you said it the other day, the field, the meditation, the energy on the earth.
Schumann resonance.
Yeah, the Schumann resonance. Go check that, because the energy on the planet is massively changing. And like anything that I say is
Googleable.
You Google, do your own research. But meditation's increasing, so everyone is breaking out of, like what you said, the matrix. And yes, the matrix is real, people.
You know how I view that? I viewed it, and this is how when I started, I viewed it that meaning whoever, the beings, the higher ups came, and they're like, okay, we're supposed to be awake. Oh my God, you guys are all asleep. You guys are all, you were supposed to be ready to go, and we have to catch the flight. It's like, come on. And
yes.
And so that's why we're scrambling to
I feel like on this, like everything's an urgency. It's kind of calmed down for me lately, but I still continue to do what I'm doing, but it's prepping us, because I'll just say it. Things are about to massively change. Everyone can sit there and say, I'm a conspiracy theory. No, it's not. But yes, it is.
Okay. And what avenue? Are you talking politics? You talking indictments? You talking, where are you going?
Politics, indictments.
Well, look at what's happened so far.
But people still aren't.
Slow disclosure, but it's
slow,
happening.
It's happening, and people are going to wake up. But that, I'm a firm believer. I didn't start waking up until something traumatic happened to my life. What's about to happen is going to be a traumatic incident for most, and that's going to propel people to start questioning, because I'm gonna tell you, people, there's a guy that I follow. His name, it's deepstatemappingproject.com. Anyone can go to that website. You can pull up the map. And this guy does such good research. He even tells you where to go back and do the research. And he dates back to BC time. Okay. This is how long it's been going on. So when people start realizing what they've been putting in our food, our water, religion, politics, what they're doing to the kids. I mean, it's the tip of the iceberg. It just snowballs effects, and people are going to have a hard time wrapping around it. They're not going to know what to do when they start realizing what they're putting in their pills, the medicine that people are taking. I mean, all you're doing is you're taking one that's going to cost a bunch of side effects. So you got to start taking more. It's just really hurting your body. It's a snowball effect. And the only reason they're doing it is money.
Okay. That's where, okay. So when, that's what happened is that I started asking questions. This is like 2014, 2013. I got sick, not sick, whatever. But I started researching. I'm like, okay, so they tell me to eat this, tell me to drink this, and then they tell me I get sick and I'm worth a ton of money through chemotherapy and all that stuff. That doesn't seem right. Mm-hmm. So yeah, and I've got more to that story.
Someone asked who that was again. It's deepstatemappingproject.com. And if I have the .com or whatever wrong, I will post it on. I'll give it to her so she can post, and then I'll
drop it in.
Yeah, we'll drop it in.
We'll drop all these links.
But yeah, no, that's it, and that's why I got the intuitive thing to heal, because when I started realizing what all I was putting in my body and what was going on, then I was like, whoa, wait a minute, that's just crazy. And so I got into Reiki. I am a natural healer. I do a lot of healing in my sleep. So when I'm sleeping, guys, I am healing grid lines too. I know this for a fact because I actually came out of a dream healing grid lines. And that's where I learned to be able to heal past and present trauma with Reiki. Yeah, I know. It was amazing.
No. I'm doing that because the other day, not the other day, it was last year, I think. I had this dream. And it was all black. And that's when I know my dreams are when there's nothing there. It's like in a void. Mm-hmm. And I'm sitting there and I, for whatever reason, like a flashlight would come by and it's like, oh my God, what is that? Oh, there's so much out there. Okay. And then I would go back and like flashlight, you know how like a flashlight in a dark room and it illuminates just a bit. And then I sat back. And finally, I reached over in my dream, and there was a lamp, and I pulled the lamp. It's like, holy moly! I'm in this huge, cavernous, massive place, and there are all these kiosks, and in each kiosk is like a control with all these buttons, and there are people sitting at the control, and there's a hologram in front of them, like a holographic scene playing out. So they were just sitting there working, and every now and then they'd look over me, she's still there. And then when I finally, the lights came on, I came out and I started, and I asked, and there were all these like wires up above, not wires, but like lights, like fiber optics. And so what it was, they said, do you know where you are? No. But basically these were our different lives playing out in the guides. And they said, and when you heal, let's say you heal, like if you healed 2019, like something here, it heals forward that timeline and it heals back. It heals both ways. And so, and that's part of my job too. That's what I do is I help heal timelines.
Yes. And see it, and people can do that. That's all the process of healing. And we spoke about it earlier. It's going back to that, whatever trauma you have, it's going back to that situation, you stepping out of it and looking at it. But most people don't want to do that because that's, no, it's hard. No one wants to face it, that they played a part in it. Sometimes we don't play a part in it, but a lot of the times
we always play a part. Yeah, we either agree to play a part or we're the instigator or the perpetrator. Yes. I mean,
yeah. Well, that's what I mean. It's not like, we sometimes trauma happens. We don't ask for it, but it's just going back to that situation and healing. And that's part of like healing the timelines. And when you start to do that, things really start to change in your life. Like my main thing that I was scared with and what pushed me to help get sober too, was that I didn't want that habit to my son to carry on. I didn't want that for him. And I didn't want him to see me that way. And the fact that, he had to say something to me, that made me make the decision. I made the decision to change. Wow. And anybody can do that. I've seen, there's one guy on guy, I can't remember his name, but he was raised in nothing. Like, I think both of his parents were addicted to drugs. He raised himself, and he is a very motivational speaker.
Oh, I saw him. And he's really cute and sweet.
He's
and his wife is
yeah,
beautiful.
he's the African American guy. I can't remember what.
Oh no, this is somebody else.
Oh,
okay.
But yeah, I mean, he can tell you. A lot of us have similar situations. We're not different from anybody else, but going back to like what I was saying, when people start realizing that, they're going to start looking at different ways to heal themselves, you know. And I'm sorry, we were not put here on this planet to not heal ourselves or provided with the materials to heal us. And that's where plants come in, and energy healing, and you know, I mean, the list goes on holistic health. So,
well, I'm working on this incredible. I was given some great information recently, and I'm kind of formulating it, structuring it in my mind to be able to talk about it and go deeper into it. And it does talk about that, and it does talk about remembering who we are. And my base question has always been, why? Who gives a shit? I mean, at the end of the day, we die. You know, I mean, at the end of the day, we go back, and they answer that question, and it's something to the effect. And again, this is still kind of that wispy, vague concept in my head, but something to the effect of, it's time that the rest of the universe, you know, the rest of everybody else, I'm trying not to say the word multiverse, the rest of the multiverse, like we're in this infant stage, and the infant stage, it's sort of like little baby chick eggs in the incubator. Well, it's time for us to hatch and to be who we are. And it's not that we have all these powers, we have all these abilities. Everybody has them. That's what Jesus was saying. Like, you're going to do what I'm doing and more. And then what happens is that is a jumping off point for the other places. So it's like we get to take our seat at the table. That's why we're trying to wake up, is it's time for us to take our seat at the table. And then I think we have these cancerous viruses, these people, beings, whatever, these ideas, they're all facilitated by these groups, organizations, whatever, that takes the power. And that's what they do. I mean, they just go around and that's what they do. That's how they live, you know, like a virus, like a, and so that's what we're trying to break free from. And that's what we're trying to live organically. And off topic, my son this morning, my 10-year-old said, as we're looking at the sky, he said, he was asking me, he said, what do you think aliens, do you think they live here? I said, oh yeah, of course they do. What do you think they look like? I said, they look like us. I mean, some of them don't, but a lot of them do. And I think that there is this awareness that is starting, but you have to become aware first in order to know where you're going. It's like you kind of have to have a plan. And so I think that's the point in the story that we are.
Oh yes, and it, because it's been going on for so long, you know, nobody's been sitting at the table, so it's like we're all getting at the table, and the table's just kind of growing. I mean,
table's growing, but it's a collective. We have to sit at the table.
Yes.
And that is, I believe, we have to understand that you can heal yourself. I mean, this is probably a ridiculous example, but my children all got the flu. They felt like little domino, and they all got the flu, all three of them, and within the period of a week. And I just sat there and said, oh, dude, we're not getting it. Hey, dudes, we're not getting it. And I said, let's bone up. And I flooded my body with a bunch of light, and I flooded it, and I just sat with it. I only did it one time, and I sat with it, and I just ordered my body not to get sick. I didn't get sick.
I bet.
We didn't have the flu shot. We didn't do any of that.
No, I didn't. I don't get the flu shot. In the same way, you know, if I feel something going on, I immediately start to heal myself. But I've been I've been healthy for quite some time because I'm doing that. But we had an incident where the flu kind of came into our house, and I immediately put thieves oil on. I started spraying everything with thieves oil, and nope, we didn't get the flu.
I'm laughing. My poor son, I put oregano under his tongue. He's like, oh my God. I didn't know it was going to sting. And oh, poor guy. He was just horrified. So then I came in. Okay. I do have to say these claims are a little bit interesting. So I have the Melaleuca book, and you can go, not Melaleuca, the Terra book, and kind of what you use for different things. And I went through and I was like, oh, it can cure the flu and Ebola. Who knew?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I wish it was that easy, and maybe one day it will be. Maybe I'm part of the problem.
Well,
but
what the good thing is, and what I believe is that all these diseases that we have out now, cures are already going to start showing up, because most diseases that we have out there are man-made, and they're put out in the system to help gain control. That's why we are now starting to see HIV.
HIV's back?
No, HIV, they're being able to cure it.
Yeah, cure it completely or just maintain it?
If you're in HIV, it's starting to pop up on reports. The next is going to be cure for cancer. There's going to be lots of cures for anything. A lot of cures because a lot of the diseases that you have now are in what you drink. I mean, go check to see what sodas are doing to you.
Yeah, I was a huge drinker. I don't know. My water makes me smell like a Frito. I say that wrong. My kids I don't know why I'm saying that wrong, but it is like my water. And so I had my water tested. The city came out and they tested the line because my house is really old, and had them check the line from the street to my house. And the guy's like, it's fine. But I know. And so then I had someone else come out, like a company come out and check my water. And they said, you either have chloramine or chlorine. You don't have both. And they said, you have 3 times of you have both, and you have 3 times the recommended amount of chloramine, and you have enough chlorine for a public swimming pool. I'm like, well, no wonder it smells like a gym in my house. I mean, it has that chlorine smell. So that's why I wouldn't let you guys drink water. I'm like, yeah, I don't have any still water. And so we had fizzy water. But there's so much. And she is going to be back if she will come back a lot.
Well, yes, so I would love to be back.
We will have to have topics. So drop in your topics. I'm sorry about that. Drop in your questions for her, and we'll do a Q&A. So anything else you want to sign off on? Skittles.
No, you can go visit my website again. That's gardenofenlightenment.space. We are on Facebook. I do have an Instagram under the garden. You can follow my personal one. It's Holistic Mystic Homemaker. Let's see what else. Yeah, you can find me all there. Yeah, don't forget to subscribe to this girl.
Thank you.
You got to follow. You're going to learn more things, but yeah. Thank you. Thank you for having me on the show. And thank you to all my friends. I told them that I would give them a shout out.
Yay!
So, and my family, I know that people are going to be watching this. I love you. And yeah, y'all are my foundation. So
they're the grounder.
They are. I can't tell you, my family have been wanting me to get sober and everything for the longest time. And now that I've done it, this is what you did. So awesome. I'm just going to keep going from here.
Yay, that's beautiful. That's a great note to end on.
Thank you.
So, all right, guys, thank you again. And check her out. Go subscribe. Same thing. Newsletter. I can't wait to see that.
Yes, coming out April 1st.
Yay. And so, all right, that's it. Y'all have a great day and stay tuned.
Bye.
Bye. Now I forget because we always have to turn it off. All right, this is going to be away. Bye.
Bye.